Yellow, yellow, yellow. Hello, everybody. So today we have McKing with us. He's brought by popular demand. And before he spoke, I already have Jerry Ho saying hello to both of us, asking about some advice. So just a short intro. McKing is a hypnotist. So he would say he's more like a clinical hypnotist. So I think the ones that you see that appears in magic shows and entertain you, they are a different breed, I would say. And yes, that's though he does very amazing stuff, but please do not associate him with like wizards or people that do magic. They're not the same type. I know he's dressed very well, but it's just so that you don't get confused. And recently, McKing has won an award, like Hypnotist of the Year 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was just awarded to him today, is it?
Yes. They just received. I just received the email today. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So first up, since we have burning questions from Jerry Ho, let's just address that first. Can you see that, McKing?
Yes. You want me to answer it?
Yeah, of course. He says he wants to sleep soundly and quickly, and how does he achieve that? Through hypnosis? Okay, so that's Jerry's question.
Okay, so of course, if we look into from the general consensus of day-to-day life, if let's say, for example, you take caffeine at night, then you might want to reduce caffeine or tea. And if let's say you want to actually put a more conducive environment for sleeping, then you will want to actually reduce the lighting and even reduce interaction with electrical devices like phones and laptops, like after 7 or 8. And then you might want to like read a book or something. So that actually puts you in a more conducive environment for sleeping. So that is just the usual stuff. If let's say you want to use hypnosis, I do actually have a hypnosis audio that helps with 3 major sleep issues for insomnia, quality of sleep, as well as waking up. So it sort of targets these 3 areas, and it's about 20 minutes. You listen to it, you fall asleep, and then you wake up the next day. Yeah. That's a quick rundown. Yeah.
What about, I'm just curious, I'm not sure if our viewers have heard that before. There's something called binaural sounds. Have you heard of that? Do you think that works for sleep?
Okay, that can definitely work for some people, yes. Because it actually has like dual sounds and all that, and it sort of like goes into the brain, triggers the frequency for actually sleep. So that could work, yes. But of course, it really depends. Some people might find that it might not work. It really is a case-by-case basis. Everyone, since we're all human, every one of us is different and unique. So therefore, we may need to try out a few things before we realize, hey, actually this one works for me, and then we do that. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We have interesting comments. Jack says eating yogurt rice will do. What is yogurt rice? I'm not sure. Jack, you may want to clarify that. I think he's trying to help Jerry here, but I really don't know what yogurt rice is. Sorry. Hello from the other side of SG. Okay, that's his signature song entrance. Food and drinks don't work for me. Okay. And then Jerry says chamomile is not enough. Jerry has really tried many options. Oh my God, poor guy. Yeah. Then he goes like, hypnosis maybe. That's what he says. Okay. Classical music. What about classical music, McKing?
Yeah, it could. But again, it depends on what kind of classical music. For example, certain kind of classical music actually creates more of oomph in you, more actually energy. So it really depends on what type of music and what's the energy that they actually portray. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like you can't do Vivaldi when you sleep, right? Vivaldi, yeah. Like Four Seasons. You feel like you just want to jump. I would jump to that. Jump around in the garden. I play YouTube with sound frequency things. I think, yeah. So what I'm aware of is binaural sounds. But besides that, is there any other specific sounds that you can look up on YouTube to help you sleep, McKing? What do you think?
Okay, so yes, some people do find that the soothing sound of the ocean waves does make them relax and then put them to sleep. Others find the rustling of leaves in the forest or even the raindrops actually help them to put to sleep. But again, it's really case by case basis. For example, someone with a fear of insects might not want the sound of forest. And
Okay, yeah.
swimming will not want to listen to the sound of ocean waves. So, so that is why it really has to be a case by case basis.
I
You
understand.
can try a lot of things, but finally, once it works for you, then yeah, stick to it.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking about my sis because she's terribly afraid of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are like one of the biggest enemies of her life. Whenever she hears any forest sound, she will just think of like
Yes.
mosquito bites.
Yeah, which can't feel it. Yeah.
So I don't think she can sleep well after. Okay. Wow. Okay. There's a lot of comments pouring in. MJ, so is that your friend?
Yeah. Recently, she interviewed me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, yogurt rice, Indian food. Oh, okay. That yogurt. Okay, I understand. Yeah, the white one. I mean, all yogurt is what am I talking about? I mean, the soury, like, you know, the
Baby.
Hey?
Huh?
I had a voice. Is that me?
Yeah, I trying to do the watch party thing. I couldn't see it.
But I think if your friends can see it, probably they can really see the video. Yeah.
Then can.
Yeah. Then Vincent says hi neighbor. He's my neighbor, by the way. He's an actor and is also my neighbor. Yeah. Sex also don't put me to sleep afterwards. Huh? Okay, Jerry. Really? You want to tell the whole world that? Seriously?
If he's interested, I can actually send the link to download my audio to listen, and then it can help. Of course, again, most people do fall asleep. I actually made this audio for my mom's friend because she was having like insomnia for like 3 days or something. So I made that audio overnight, and then I just send it over. It's my voice. It's a hypnotic voice, I suppose. And I said
hypnotic voice.
Yeah, so I can send over. Yeah, see if it helps.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. So Jerry, you heard that? Yeah. It's very kind. McKing's gonna send you some sounds to help you sleep. Yeah. Okay. Then Jack says something about yogurt rice in white in color, cooling dessert. Yeah. Okay. Get that one. But I don't think it works for Jerry. That's the thing. Maybe it works for me. I'm more like when I eat, I can sleep.
Oh.
Okay. More questions. Hello, Alex. Betty Brownie. How to cook better rendang? What is this? Hey, not a cooking show lah, brother.
Okay, you can consider looking for someone who cooks rendang.
Yeah, Betty Brownie. Is that your friend?
No.
I don't know this person and him or her. I don't know who. Okay, Mr. or Miss Betty Brownie. I do have a friend who is a chef. His name is Benson. You might want to go to Benson's food cooking show later on at about 8 p.m. Yes, but yeah, I don't think McKing and I will do rendang here. This is so random. Oh my gosh. Gary says hi. Gary, hey. I want a suit done. Yes, since forever, but yeah, we must get this done, Gary. We must. Okay. Shuyan says hi, Kate. Hi, McKing. You know Shuyan?
Hello. Yeah, I know her.
Him. Guy.
Guy?
Yes.
Oh, a different Shuyan. Robinson.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, he's my friend. I thought he's your friend, but maybe he's just being friendly. He says hi, everyone. Yes, please link to audio. Jerry sends his email.
Yeah,
the whole world. Jerry, when you send your email to the whole world, everyone's gonna mail you like random stuff now. What a good idea. Okay, then Frederick says 2 glasses of wine should work for sleep, I think. What do you think about wine and sleep making?
Some people can fall asleep with some wine. Some people don't.
Okay.
I mean, like, let's think of it this way. There are many clubbers, right? They go and drink. And then they're still drinking more than just 2 glasses of wine in terms of alcohol. And they're still clubbing and dancing. So, it's really case by case basis. Yeah. Okay. For some people, it can work. Yeah.
Okay, so Betty Brownie is Arik. Okay, Arik is Singapore actor that went to Malaysia, KL to develop. So I didn't know it's you lah. Sorry, brother. But why are you coming to the Hypnotist to ask for rendang, brother? What are you thinking? You see, like we both like question mark counting in our head already now. Hello, Gary Fu. Da da da. Okay. Benson Tong. See, yeah. Okay, so maybe later we can put in the link for Benson's page if you guys want to see him cook. This is the guy you should watch cook. Don't watch me cook it. No rendang. I mean, for me, if it's Western, it's okay, but rendang, come on, nah, it's just not gonna happen. Power of Mattel show for Jerry. Jerry asked if Gary made suits.
Yeah, he's a tailor.
Okay. So you guys don't know each other. So apparently, I think Gary should also come and talk to my. Say first, if too many guys want your number and address you up, that's something you need to handle. Oh, wow, okay lah. Don't worry lah, it's okay lah. Anything just call 999 what? Okay. And then they say hello to each other. Okay. This is private account, blah, blah, blah. Gary is my image consultant. Oh, okay. All our friends from BB are here. Wow. Max is here too. Okay. So after our initial salutations with everybody, okay. So back to the topic. So yeah, McKing, I think before you talk about your work, you need to explain what is hypnotism, because I think people don't understand this and then they get very confused. Yeah, so maybe you should explain this to our viewers here.
Sure. Okay. So hypnotism is essentially something that is a natural human phenomenon. All of us actually go into a state of hypnotic trance all by ourselves already. But of course, in order to explain that a little bit better, I will explain the two minds. All right. So there's a conscious mind, it's like a logical gatekeeper, and there's an unconscious mind, it's more the emotional mind. So what happens is that since all of us are adults here, whenever I say something, you might be like, okay, I don't want to listen to this guy. I want to block the information. That is your logic, okay? Your conscious mind blocking the information. But if let's say you open the gates, okay, I want to hear what he says and have an access about it, have an understanding about it. The information will go into the unconscious mind, and that is where there's a secondary filter to filter out this information, whether it goes in the unconscious mind or gets rejected. All right. Now, another way to look at it is like, I'll use a metaphor, it's like a computer. So whenever you use your mouse on your laptop or your computer and you click here, click there and everything, you could be looking at folder 2019 and you see all the memories inside, but then maybe you're like scratching your head, where is my folder year 2000? I can't remember, where is it? Now, essentially, the mouse is exactly like the conscious mind, where you are looking for stuff, you are aware, you are focusing, you are thinking and all these kind of things. While your unconscious mind is more like the computer program itself, or the code, or the programming code inside. Essentially, this also means that all the memories, even 2000, even when you were a baby, is actually in the software, in the code of your computer. It's just that as if you look at it on a surface point of view, you are unable to use your mouse, your conscious mind, to access those memories, even though they are already there. Okay, so that is the mind in a sense. It's a very, very brief sort of thing to understand all these kind of things. So when we want to go into hypnosis, how I actually like to illustrate is that the way we go into hypnosis is focus. So for example, have you ever gone on a date with someone or a meeting with one other person and you're having like maybe a lunch or a dinner together and the conversation was so intense, you were so involved in it that you zone out the whole cafe and restaurant? If you have, that is an example of trance. Now, another example of extreme focus, you could be working on your laptop and then you're like, oh my God, it's already like dinner time, you forgot lunch, for example. That is another example of trance, where we are so focused in something that we are so absorbed in our task that we zone out the whole place around us, the whole environment around us. We are completely, we are not be able to be distracted by the things around us, because that is extreme focus. All right. So the other one.
So technically, yeah, if you were to like, no, it's okay. Yeah, because you're talking about zoning things out, right? Yeah. So there's a style of music called trance music, right? But technically, yeah, like, trance music, like, okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Technically, if you're into a certain kind of music, it doesn't have to be trance music to put into trance. Any music can put into trance, technically.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Okay, so think, okay, for music, music is also in a way quite hypnotic, because why? Music talks directly to the soul. It taps onto the emotion. You hear, for example, you mentioned about the song earlier, about the classical song. It makes you upbeat, want to go out, right? And as you mentioned, trance, it makes you go into that kind of state. Rock music makes you like, you like want to rah-rah and all that. So depending on the type of music, it actually triggers a particular emotion. You do not hear like classical music and get angry. Except maybe if you're listening to Beethoven, perhaps, I don't know. So
okay, sorry.
Yeah. So when you actually listen to music, it actually talks to the soul and draws on the emotion, which goes into the next category of hypnosis. Your emotions. Essentially, whenever you feel an emotion, it's like a mini trance. You are tapping onto your unconscious mind to draw that emotion, and that is happening all the time. So essentially, all of us are walking around in a state of multiple trances, mini trances throughout the day. Not the kind of trance, all right, but a general trance where we could be focus on something. For example, people are okay, not so much now, but last time, pre-CB, people are like looking at their phones and just walking, and yet they somehow know that it's a red man and they're not supposed to cross the road. They just stop at the road on there, and then when it turns green, they just cross again. So they are so absorbed in the phone, in a state of trance, but yet they're still aware of the surroundings. That is essentially what hypnosis is. Does it make sense to you?
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm thinking because I have a strange habit, which comes from the fact that I'm a very kinesthetic person. When I talk or when I think, I need to walk, which makes things very difficult when I have to make speeches at like a specific stand or like, what do you call that, pulpit, whatever. Yeah. So like if I'm given the stage, you say like, no, Kate, you make this addressment to this group of people. If I walk up and down, my mind will be like the sharpest thing on planet Earth. But if you're asking me to stand, my IQ just dropped like 20%. I just can't think without walking. Is that trance? Is that a kind of hypnotic state that I have to be walking to be in that trance state for my mind to function, kind of?
To a certain extent, yes. And for this, I will link to something else called an anchor. I don't know if you've heard of anchor before. It's the same spelling as an anchor. Yeah. Okay. So an anchor is an external stimulus that invokes an internal response. All right. So usually I like to describe a fear of cats. You see the cat, okay, fear. So you see the cat is a visual anchor. There are a fear inside. There's a visual fear, a visual anchor that triggers a fear. So of course, if you hear the cat meow, you get triggered again. So there's an auditory. Hi, cat. Does he have a name?
His name is Dempsey. He's my son. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So if you hear the cat, it's an auditory anchor. If you touch the cat, it's a kinesthetic anchor. Okay. Of course, you can smell the cat or taste the cat. That's also olfactory and gustatory anchors. Now, the next thing is that there are also location anchors. All right. So, for example, you could be okay. Let's just ask general public. Have you ever worked from home to the point where right now, especially if let's say you work in your bedroom and then you feel lethargic, you feel like you just want to sleep, you just want to rest. Have you ever had that before? Now, this is actually an example of a location anchor where the bedroom is, in a way, it triggers relaxation, rest, to calm down, to relax, generally speaking. Now, the inverse is also possible. If let's say, for example, you were to keep working in your bedroom to the point where it is now a place of work, then I just lost her. Yeah, I'll just share with you guys. So if you where was I? If you actually work in your bedroom to the point of you having to do things very proactive, then what happens is that your bedroom is now a location anchor for activity instead of rest. And then you get the counter effect, which is you cannot sleep at night, which I don't know if Jerry is experiencing that, but well, we'll go there if we talk about it. Okay, so let me see how I can get Kate back.
I'm back.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, my son played with the cable. Sorry, he chewed them up.
No, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So I basically shared about how location anchors. If you are working from your bedroom, the bedroom is a place of relaxation, so you might trigger rest and relaxation. But if let's say you work in it too much, it becomes a place of activity, and then end up when you try to sleep, you actually affect your sleep. So in your case, yes, in your case, it is a very similar kind of anchor where you need to move and that triggers that the blood circulation, the oxygen to your brain, and able to think better, your neurons firing and all that. So I would describe it as a bit of a trance, but also the use of an anchor. Of course, we may not know of such anchors, but all of us actually so-called install or trigger anchors without us knowing more than half the time. Sometimes on ourselves, and sometimes on other people. It's just how mind works. Okay, let me give one quick example. Imagine somebody got into a car crash. In a state of shock, the conscious mind, the gatekeeper, is temporarily down. The unconscious mind is wide open and is now processing, oh my God, are we dying or whatever? And at this point in time, a program can be formed potentially, not all be affected, but potentially a program can be formed to be an anchor related to a car crash or the tree or a red car that you bang or whatever, and linked to an accident or near death and develop PTSD. Anchors, so PTSD are actually anchors. And this is an example of an accidental anchor because you didn't want it, but in a state of shock, it just programs that way. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna just address some people. Why is my name kena tag? Okay, because someone asked me for rendang. I don't know why they asked a hypnotist for rendang, so that's why you have been asked. You have been tagged. So yes, Benson. Arik really wants to see how rendang is made. Please make some rendang and teach him. Okay, then hypnosis is good for self-realization using the adjusting self-consciousness like make money. So you're gonna teach Jerry how to make money like this, the case.
Can give some examples later if you all want to know.
Oh, okay, interesting. Arik, for that to happen, you have to introduce McKing to the government people, okay?
Even that, to be fair, is a bit unlikely. Hypnosis must require permission and consent from the subject.
Yeah. So first he must be friends with them first. So you must make him friends with them first. Then it can work. So that's how it is. Okay. What's this? No wonder, bro, I play Dota as well now. Huh? What are you talking about? Sorry. Does speech and minutes of song influence your mind?
Yes, it can. So okay, I can't think of any examples right now. The only one that comes to mind is Staying Alive, BGs. Actually, you follow the beats is for the CPR.
Staying alive.
Actually,
yeah.
But so certain actually, yes, beats per minute does actually influence because that is the frequency and the activity.
Okay.
And it triggers your brain and your mind to actually process at that speed as well. So yes, it does influence. It speeds up or slows down.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, some strange advice. Okay. Rhythm is a dancer. And so is Kate. Okay, yeah, go on. Like play chess can hypnotize into playing bad. Wow. What do you think about this, McKing?
I used to play
just
chess.
Stare at them.
No. I used to play chess. But I went for competitive chess. And so in competitive chess, we don't really talk so much. But of course, when you're playing chess one-to-one and a very free thing, then yes, there are certain things that the players might do to try to influence. For example, I'm observing my opponent. They make a move and then they go, yeah, as if they make a mistake. But actually, they didn't make a mistake. They just want to trick you. So it's not really like hypnotist. It's just general influence. Trying to influence or trying to manipulate, I suppose.
It's like poker, right? In that sense, like it's just playing with your feelings.
Yes. I think poker is more intricate. Yeah, because you can't see the hand. Where else when it comes to chess, you can see the move. And in fact, back when I was in JC, I played Chinese chess. Even during my competition, I was somehow able to gather certain details about the opponent's personality and character traits by playing chess with him without talking. It's really, really interesting. There was one time I played a game and he came in. Well, it was the first game for the day. There was a competition. He came, he was rushing. He haven't had his breakfast yet. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'll be a nice guy and let him eat breakfast first. But because we can't speak during the chess game, so I just stared at my board. I didn't make a single move. He was the first player. He made the first move, and then he's eating, and then he's looking at me, and I'm just staring at the board, calculating in my mind. And then after that, he got fed up. So he lost patience, and later on his game was really bad, and he lost in like 5, I think about 10, 15 minutes of that. Then my teammates were like, why are you not moving? Then I, shh, play your game. Then after that, how will you win so fast? Yeah, because he lost his patience. It was it was accidental, but yeah.
Okay, so Eric says, no wonder Singaporeans chance every day keep thinking about how to make more money. Yeah, this one, of course, this is part of the Singaporean identity, right? Just sit and think about how to make money. All bound for Mumuland. Mumuland means like a sleep land, right?
Is it?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Hello from Jack Sparrow Chan. Hello!
Hello.
Captain! I Captain! I'm lagging. Yeah, I was lagging. I was in trance. Okay, finish. Is Hypnotist same as Hypnosis? Or that means, yeah, the person and the procedure, the state. Yeah, Hypnosis is the state of mind.
And then I do hypnosis with people.
Okay. Try first. No. Make money. Yes. Okay. So Jerry wants you to hypnotize him to make money, apparently. Retro disco period, blah, blah. Medical and psychological hypnosis, Gary, right? The is it a good book to read? Okay, this one you should know. I wouldn't know. Who is this Gary Elkins?
I don't know this guy.
Okay.
I don't know this guy. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I have a friend who has hypnosis, so she can think she looks drop dead gorgeous and get rich boyfriend.
So, wait, that does have an effect because having a perception of ourselves, in her case, could potentially increase her confidence. And therefore, when she increases her confidence, she can attract people who see that confidence inside her. Now, imagine if, let's say, she was insecure, then, of course, the guys would be like, yeah, this girl's so insecure, it's like, I can find a better woman outside. So that shift would actually be helpful. How we perceive ourselves does actually have a reflection in the world. Yes.
Cool. Okay, so now that we have kind of answered the questions on our side, McKing, you have any questions on your side?
My side?
I mean, like, do you have a separate list of friends that are watching? I'm just curious.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see.
Vincent says, like, Michael Lee Fortune series. I'm not sure what this means. What's that? Vincent, we don't understand you. You can read right back again. Oh, now they're talking about the music, the retro staying alive. Okay. Chair. Yeah. So I was thinking, McKing, do you want to show some videos about you and some of the people you work with?
Yeah, sure. So
go on.
A couple of years ago, this is a very quick introduction about it. A couple of years ago, I received an email from a video production to actually interview me for Hypnosis is my business, or is it my profession? I think Hypnosis is my business. And then they put it on Toggle, which has now changed to Me Watch. So we get a couple of clients to come in who are okay to share their faces or and describe their issues, and then we did a bit of a video to show it. So yeah, give a glimpse into how a session might look like.
Okay, guys, you're gonna maybe see some people that you're familiar with, especially the BB people. You'll see a face that you're very familiar with. Please don't go and harass him after this. Okay, I must say my disclaimer first before we play. Even though all permission has been given to McKing to show this video, but no, be kind to the people we're gonna watch. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, I can't find it. Where is it? Oh yeah, just not my computer. Maybe I need to pull out. Yeah, this video. Okay, it's done. Just a bit blacky.
I want you to ask the symbol, what is its message for you? Let it communicate with you. Trust. Yeah. Believe. Confident. something I've lost so long ago. It's coming back. Take your time and know that as the days and weeks and months go by, your conscious mind is now these newfound resources, positive resources that can achieve so much more. Once your 100% fully integrated, come back. Yeah. So, okay. Welcome back. How was it? Okay, good, great. I can feel that there's a love. There's a belonging. Like mother, other child. It's right. Full of love. I think that love is the most powerful. Now you cannot be using normal voices to actually hypnotize people any day. So called the hypnotic voice. Yeah. 10. Going deeper and deeper. 9. With each step you take. 8. Greater application in your unconscious mind. 5. Resolution. Seeking. 7. Relax. Feeling safe. Calm. Of course, depending on which technique, I can also control the depth, the tonality, and control the depth of the client. As you focus on the sound of my voice, any other sound that you may or may not hear around you, this can give us the relaxation. My hypnosis, even the unconscious mind. I had clients as young as 7 who came for focused concentration, interested in studies, development issues, and as old as 83-year-old for some physical health issues. I think some things that made me really good at that job is that I'm very open to everybody. I do not judge. And due to that, I think that allows my clients to feel a bit more safe in a sense, be able to share nonsense. Before this session, I thought it was like in the TV that you really want to snap and just was. But after today, I feel that it's better, different experience. I tried almost everything that I can, but some things are subconscious and you might not know that you have that blind spot. It'll be good for someone else to point that out to you. Yeah, I see it as an investment.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, okay.
Why are you laughing?
Huh?
Why are you laughing?
Nothing.
I mean, probably we have a lot of interesting responses.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I heard you say in the video you have a hypnotic voice. What is a hypnotic voice?
Okay, so for hypnotists, we have to have a different voice when we want to do hypnosis. The reason being is that when we actually use a particular voice to stick to it and hypnotize our clients, then what happens is that if let's say they come back for future sessions, when we go back to that voice, that particular tonality, that particular voice can actually bring the person into a trance state much faster. All right. So if let's say, for example, I talk normally like this. If let's say I hypnotize you like this for a therapeutic setting, for like relaxation or whatever. Now, can you imagine if let's say you happen to be my Grab driver? Oh yeah, how's your sleep recently? And then you hear the same voice and you're like, so you don't want that to happen. So that's why we need a different voice. One of the best hypnotists in history, Milton Erickson, he had supposedly at least 5 different voices. A normal voice, one for relaxation, one for waking up, one to find the problem, and one to solve. So that's 5 different voices. There's like, I don't know whether I have that many voices, but yeah, so there's a different voice. It is a little more deeper and a bit more slower. But of course, that's general voice. I do have slight voices for like bringing the person up or just putting relaxation, finding these issues. Yeah, slight different voices here and there.
Actually, I don't know. I mean, for me, I know for sure there's a Kate when she's working voice, and then there's Kate when she just wakes up. So that's pretty much it.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And that difference in voice can actually affect other people when they're listening to it. Yeah.
Okay, so Jerry says he wants to book a hypnosis session with you.
Okay.
So you can look for Jerry. Yeah, sure. Jerry is a MediaCorp actor. I would say actor that works for MediaCorp. I must say that properly because before he fries me.
I recognize the face. Yeah, I see it.
Yes. He is the one that came with me on the previous discussion. Yeah, and he's also well known as a dentist because he's appeared on all the Colgate boxes and in like Hong Kong. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, then yeah. Got anyone self-hypnosis themselves? I think McKing does that often, right?
Okay. Okay, generally speaking, all of us are hypnotizing ourselves in one way or another. So earlier I mentioned about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, right? So what happens is whenever we say anything, your conscious mind will always open door and allow the sentence to go into your unconscious mind. And in the secondary filter will be sort of filtering this information to truly accept or reject. So more often than not, if the filter is based on negativity, whenever you say negative stuff, it will go inside. And now your unconscious mind is like, all right, we just said something negative, so let's prove us right. And then you try to find stuff to make us negative. So, for example, if you know anyone who always says, I'm always late for the bus, and then they're always late for the bus. Why is it so? Because the moment they say, I'm always late for the bus, it goes inside, in the way they hypnotize themselves, and now they're like, they can't tie their shoelaces, they can't find their phone, where are my glasses, not the right suit or whatever. Yeah, something will jam, end up, they're late for the bus. So that's an example. Now, of course, if you were to say positive things, then you're more likely to get positive things as well. For example, someone who says, I'm always lucky, maybe whenever they go to the most famous chicken rice store and there's always no queue, because they're lucky, they get to eat faster. But the one who thinks that is unlucky, end up, the queue, 30 over people, and then got to wait. Yeah, so that's an example of very quick. Essentially, what we say to ourselves is a form of self-hypnosis. It is a form of self-hypnosis. So everybody's hypnotizing themselves in one way or another.
Okay. So I'm just thinking like because I'm someone that I recognize myself to be very motivated by negative circumstances, which is maybe not so typical, but I don't think I'm alone in this. I believe there are people out there who are also motivated by negativity as compared to positivity. So does that mean that basically my mind is hypnotized to prefer negative circumstance?
Okay, so think of it as like it is a computer and it has a specific program. So someone, for example, have a negative circumstance. Let's say it triggers anxiety, and that's it. Okay, so every time got negative, it triggers anxiety. The anxiety will grow until it maybe develops into depression or panic attack or whatever. All right. Now, in your case, you have a negative circumstance, but it actually changed into motivation, for example. So what happens after you encounter a negative circumstance? It becomes motivation. So that is essentially, it is the reaction in our mind, the program in our mind, how it is programmed. Perhaps when you were young, or perhaps along the way you have done some stuff. Perhaps you have gone through certain circumstances. Perhaps you've gone through particular coaching or courses, and that actually helps you to structure into that manner. It could be that for this specific situation or circumstance that happened when you were young. Now, however, it really depends on really case by case basis. I met a lady recently who said that whenever she encounters shit to a certain extent, she actually will use it and tell herself that she can learn things from it. So end up she work on it by herself, very independent, and learn from it. Sounds great, right? Now the problem is this: because that negative circumstance is now linked to learning, this means that if she values learning, which she does, this also means the more learning you want to learn, the bigger the shit. So what happens is that the shit will actually grow over time to the point where she has met a bit of a roadblock, and then now she finds that, okay, now this negative circumstance is really too big, and I'm wondering, do I need help? So her program was helpful, but it got to a point, because of the structure of it, it got to a point where now the bigger the shit, the more the learnings. However, it became so big that she is now wondering whether she needs help or not. So really case by case basis, how the mind works, it's so unique, it's so intricate, but fun sometimes.
Okay. He says he hypnotized someone, blah, 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 monotone, indicating amount causing how much money he received on giving him. What? Now, Jack, are you seriously going to put this live? McKing, what do you think about this? I mean, you are the hypnotist here, right?
Okay, there is a possibility for this to happen. I wouldn't say it works all the time, because the subject that you're talking to has to be in a state of trance already for accepting the thing. And there is a possibility that they might have perhaps a certain program or a certain structure in the mind that makes them question whether what they thought is right or not. And therefore, you can actually input stuff to change those thoughts, change those perceptions, or change those reality in the mind.
Okay, so yeah, then more comments about Jaden and his strange, exercise. Now we have a comment from Alex. What's quasi hypnotic? I don't get this.
I have no idea either. Never seen this before.
If a person, the mind will is very strong, can the person hypnotize? I think he's trying to say that if you're of a strong will, can you be a hypnotist? It's like if you're a strong-willed person, you can pretty much learn most things. I would just say that. So if you're a strong-willed person and you decide that you want to be a hypnotist, just like Lee McKing, I guess there's a possibility that you could go well that way. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah. What about you? What do you think, McKing?
Okay. That is true. Now, if let's say it is actually that he was asking whether a strong will can be hypnotized, then I would say that everybody can be hypnotized, but it's whether you give consent or not. So if let's say, I tell the audience right now, close your eyes and relax, and then you don't want to close your eyes and relax, you just keep your eyes open, you're rejecting my suggestions and you will not be hypnotized. So it's actually following of instructions. But of course, even if you follow instructions, at that point in time, was your mind in a comfortable state for relaxation or for a trance to occur, then that is a different thing altogether. Yeah. So but generally most people can be hypnotized, even if it's person has strong will.
Okay. So I guess this is also one way of we can consider is a hypnotist, maybe positive things. I like discussing stuff of the mind, but don't like people playing mind games though. Yeah, yes. Of course. Nobody likes that.
More, negative stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, very interesting comments and more comments coming in. Opera endorses self-realization. I think it's a form of self-hypnosis. Do you agree with that?
Okay, I think when it comes to self-realization, it is the process of discovering ourselves, and to a certain extent, that process could be a form of, you can say self-hypnosis. But the process, in a way, is going into our unconscious mind and finding our stuff inside, and then realizing it out. So it may not be fully self-hypnosis, but it is a state of you can say mindfulness to a certain extent. That the process of self-realization. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take the last comment, and then after that, maybe we can do some practical work. I think that was what a lot of people was asking for. So yeah. Quasi-hypnotic is meaning using a music to hypnotize a person. Okay, so I think what he meant just now earlier on, we said something about relaxation and music. So what about using music versus using music to hypnotize or versus just having a hypnotist speak to you? Is there a difference?
Okay, one thing is that when you use music, you trigger certain emotions. Okay. However, you got to be aware that, let's say, for example, someone had a major breakup when, for example, Michael Jackson's "Heal the World" was played, and there is a chance that song can now trigger that breakup. So when you play "Heal the World," "Make It a Better Place," all that, and then the person break down and cry. They're like, what is happening? But because that actually triggers the emotion and the memory and recall that breakup. So when it comes to that kind of songs, then you just got to be aware. In terms of other kinds of no vocal music where maybe it's a bit more unique, yes, again, it could trigger certain emotions, but that's all it does. It triggers emotions, but it may not be therapeutic in that. Okay, no, let me change that. It is therapeutic to a certain extent, but it may not be actual therapy in terms of resolving certain issues.
What about food? Can food be a hypnosis? Because when I eat food, I think about things.
Yes. Okay. This will actually, all this stuff actually goes into anchors. So remember I mentioned if you taste the cat, you can trigger fear as well. So food, gustatory anchor. Smell. So when we smell, wow, my mom's cooking from long time ago, right? So this is actually an olfactory anchor. So food is a very powerful anchor,
Okay.
and it leads to certain things, whether good or bad, whether good or bad.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of the people before you came on, I think just 2 or 3 days ago, there were people like demanding for this. They say like, can we have some live demonstration? So what's gonna happen, Macking? What are you gonna do to us?
Okay, so all right. So right now, I'm allowing all of you, if you want to, we can actually have a bit of fun. It's something called a suggestive experiment. Okay, so what happens is that if you actually follow my instructions, we can all go and experience a little bit of trance-like phenomena. So would people be okay with that?
Okay, I can't hear them, but okay, guys, if you want to participate in this, put that on the chat group and say like, yes, I want to be part of this, because McKing says like, first thing first, you must have permission, right? They must feel like they want to be. If you tell yourself like, oh, it's just like, just talking rubbish, I don't listen to him, then I suggest you can just, switch off and go somewhere else. But if you really want to participate, you kind of have to say, yeah, okay, so just type and say like, maybe they're shy now. Yeah, okay. Either you physically type, say yes, I'm gonna participate, or at least in your mind you must tell yourself, yes, I am, I'm gonna go through with this whatever hypnosis that McKing's gonna do to us. I have no idea what McKing is doing, by the way, so let's see what's gonna happen.
I never hypnotized you before, right?
No.
That's to let everybody know. Okay, so if some people want to try and you actually put yes, so that at least I know you guys are following us, okay? So otherwise, I would be hypnotizing this kid, and then people want to follow along. Is that okay?
Jerry says, trance me.
Okay.
So bring it on, curious. I want to try it. Okay, so Alex says yes also. So we have 2 yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken.
But don't worry, for this particular hypnotic suggestive experiment, you are still very conscious. In fact, you can do this eyes open or eyes closed. All right, you're just experiencing a little bit of interesting phenomena. That's all. All right, so in that case, can I? Okay, so if let's say you are interested, right? I want you to put your palms facing each other. All right, and I want you to make sure that your elbows are not touching your body. Yeah, so your elbows are like sort of right angle, so to speak. Okay, so your hands are facing each other, your palms are facing each other. Now I want you to just focus on the space between your hands. Focus on the space between your hands and imagine like your hands are like magnets. All right, focus on the space between your hands and imagine that your hands are like magnets coming closer and closer together. That's right. As you imagine that your hands are like magnets coming closer and closer together, you feel the strength of the magnets increasing as they draw each other towards each other. And because they are like magnets, you can feel them getting closer and closer. This allows it to happen naturally now. You can try to resist, but you'll find that the more you resist, the more those hands will just want to touch. And when those hands touch, your unconscious mind is going to learn something new, something very interesting, something very fun. Now, of course, you can just continue to just stay in that state for as long as you need to, as long as you want, until your hands just got touched and your unconscious mind learns something new today, something positive, giving you something really amazing. Because you're learning about the power of your unconscious mind right now. That's right. The kid is almost there. That's it. You're doing very well. So what is this? It's called a suggestive experiment. It's called Manic Hands. And what happens that when you imagine your hands like magnet coming closer together, your hands will just come together all by themselves. Now, if your hands are still stuck, then just imagine your hands are not magnets anymore, and then you'll be fine. Okay. There are some people who actually got their hands stuck to the point where you are able to open up once we sort of stop, you see. But there are some people who try and they can't open up at all. Yeah. Actually, I did have another video that I did where I hypnotized 4 girls, 3 to resolve fear, and 1 to hypnotize her to drink water and get drunk as if she's drinking alcohol. And
what do you do to your people?
She didn't have a fear to resolve. So then one of the girls, hands are stuck like this, and she can try to open up. She couldn't open up until I snapped my fingers, and then she could open up. Yeah. So I just remember that video.
I don't know when I felt when you tried to ask me to how do I say, to follow your instruction, right, about the magnetic field. I don't feel like my hands are attracting. I feel like my hands are repelling.
Yes. That is the inverse, correct. So if your hands are one north, one south, then you get attraction, right? But if your hands are both north, for example, then you get a repulsion. So yes, that is actually the other possibility. So of course, it's easier if I'm face to face because then I can see your hands are whether they're really going close together or going far apart. Because now it's like it's only so small. You can only see so small. So, so you can't tell. Yeah. So that's where it gets a bit tricky. Through online to actually gauge what is happening, and what I would do if let's say I notice that your hands are repulsing instead, then I'll change my words from attraction to repulsion. But yes, that is another possibility for the Manic Hands.
Because the more you tell me, I'm like, okay, I want to follow the instruction, right? But I feel like the sensation is a repulsion sensation. So I felt like I had to force my hands shut. You know?
Which is
so funny.
Yeah. So
is that common?
Okay. Well, if we do something like this, then yeah, in a way you can say it's quite common. And what this phenomenon experiencing is more sensational. So via imagination, your hands now become magnets and you get either attraction or repulsion. So what this also means is that whenever you visualize something, whether it's a thing about your body or your mind, or just visualize about your life, whatever you imagine, it can have an effect on you. Just magnets alone. Now, there are some people who might imagine that, oh, you say the words, you hurt me as if a knife is stabbing my heart. Just by saying that, really, just by saying that, goes inside self-hypnosis, and now the image is a knife stabbing the heart. And every time let's say the husband or whatever scolds her, and she gets imaginary knife stabbing the heart. But right now, it is causing more and more heartache because that imagination can become reality for her. And that's why people have to come look for me.
Okay, so we have a lot of interesting comments. Yeah, so interesting. Where we last start off? Okay, we had. Okay, wait, no, this is already done. Challenge. Okay, so this time around we're kind of doing this practical instead of challenge. Self-realization, I mean manifestation. She's talking about like opera and the manifestation. Are you familiar with that?
Okay, so to manifest something, right, then yes, that's very different from self-realization. So when you want to manifest something, you can be thinking about the law of attraction. Okay? Now, I want to share very quickly. Most people out there, law of attraction thing is when you think positive, you attract positive to your life. To some extent, it's true. But my law of attraction is slightly different. My law of attraction is whatever that exists in your mind can manifest into reality. Right?
Okay.
Whatever exists in your mind can potentially manifest into your reality. So, of course, whatever you think positive, you visualize stuff, it can manifest. However, there are stuff that you may have inherited from your parents. They may have taught you certain negative traits that you do not want and do not think, but they are still in your mind and they still manifest into your reality. These are, of course, the cases where perhaps a girl might be saying that I don't want a abusive boyfriend, and her father was abusive to her mom, but she ends up attracting all these abusive people. So that's example. She can keep saying that she wants a nice guy, she wants a gentleman, all that, but ends up because of the stuff that's in her mind, whatever she says, just 2 seconds, right? And that will counter the negative stuff that's already inside. So she ends up manifesting abusive boyfriends. So that's the true law of attraction. Whatever exists in your mind can manifest into your reality. Yes, that can work. Yeah.
Michael says, can we mesmerize someone into hypnotic state without them consciously knowing and make a suggestions to their subconscious? Michael, you're such a dangerous man. Oh my God, there's so many dangerous people on my Facebook. No, you guys are scaring me. Okay, what do you think about this statement?
To a certain extent, there is a possibility if we go by the route of the con men on the streets. Okay, so for example, 2 or 3 years ago, I actually allowed myself to be conned by con men. I wanted to see what they do, you see.
Okay.
So what happens is that I meet them and then they say the classic. I met 2, right, different times. Both say slightly different things. One say, oh, you look very friendly and you look a very nice guy, so I feel like we have fate and so I want to talk to you. The other one is like, oh, I see a dark aura on you. You look very friendly, but the dark aura causes so it's just very general statements. And then after that, they will introduce themselves and they'll give like they'll give like just a random list of high status profiles. Like one guy said, oh, I'm a psychologist, metaphysics, a fortune teller, a author, a mentalist, and another one is saying like he's like a author, a speaker, I don't know, whatever. So by saying all this, at least 5 they gave status that we may see as like higher authority, then we sort of like look up to them. So now they're having a little bit of a power in a sense over you. Then they go into something we call yes set principles. So it's actually used in sales tactics. If you ever attend any kind of a workshop, for example, and then it's like, raise your hand if you love money. Yeah, okay, that's a yes set, okay? Or like, raise your hand if you want more money. Yeah. So yes set. So this actually, the idea is this.
I raise a hand for Jerry.
So the idea is
sorry.
Yes. Then at the end of it, when they say buy the product, you're more likely to say yes. That is what they think, and that is what they do. All right.
Okay.
So now the con man is doing such things or saying a bunch of general statements. It's called the Barnum effect or the co-readings, where they actually say a general statement that hits like 1995 of the human population. They will agree to the statement. So, for example, one general statement could be like, but again, he's like a fortune telling stuff, right? So you could be saying that, oh, I see that there's a lot of stress in the relationships. So everybody will have some stress in their relationships. And if you say that you're single, that's a relationship stress right there.
They call Bunyan's principle.
Barnum effect.
Okay.
Or co-readings. Yes. So co-readings are general readings that everybody will agree to. Then what happens is that when you share more information, he reads that information and he returns it back to you, and that becomes warm or hot readings, where now it's more accurate to you because he's actually using your information back to you, right? And so through this principle, or through these concepts, then yes, a person can go into a state where, wow, this con man, I believe him, he's talking about my things and it's also true. For example, he told me that there's one man and one woman jealous of you. You tell that to everybody, they'll think of somebody, yeah, I think that guy and that lady may be jealous of me, but right, it's all co-readings, all random stuff. And then you do some sort of like a magic kind of thing, like a mentalism kind of thing, in order to trick you into believing that he really knows his shit. So, like for example, he wrote on a piece of paper, and then he pulls it up, he gives it to me, and he says, no red, no white, think of a color. Think of a color, not red, not white. What is it that comes to mind? So what does it comes to mind? What comes to your mind?
I don't know, I just see red and white stripes. Okay,
No
maybe
red.
yellow.
Okay, so no red, no white, yellow. Okay. So in fact, I knew exactly what he was going for. And so what he did, I can't remember what I said, but what he did was, okay, other than yellow, what else? And he keeps going. So the answer is actually blue. I wish I actually asked them to comment, but anyway, the answer is blue. Why? Because, I don't know, it's a very common color. And what happened is that the moment you get blue, right, he opens up the paper and says, oh, see, it's blue, so give me money. So all the yes. money. Really,
McKing, you're starting to turn this into like how do you scam 101?
I mean, I'm only, okay, so basically, yes, this is what happens if you want to mesmerize someone into a hypnotic state without them consciously knowing and make a suggestion to the unconscious mind. Yes, that's how the content.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned here because after, there was a certain suggestion, I will not name any names because they will end up being doxing, a certain suggestion that ingesting certain fluids might be good for a certain illness. A lot of people decided to do that. So let's not suggest anything that might be taken as not very ethical or legal.
I don't know who they are, but perhaps they have learned some form of hypnotism in one way or another.
Okay. So yes, Michael. Okay. Yeah, Jerry says he's a bomo. Eat dark chocolate makes you think better. I don't know. I think everyone's different. I think as long as caffeine is something that people use for stimuli. Yeah, so Matt was screaming for you to come on the live today, actually. So he's a diehard fan, apparently. Lee McKing, the hypnotist, does dissociative identities disorder or schizophrenia patients benefit from hypnotherapy. That's very specific. Yeah.
Yes. So to a certain extent, they can benefit from hypnotherapy. But the only issue is that whether they want to resolve the issues or not. That's the only thing. So someone could be not wanting to resolve the issues, and that's where hypnosis wouldn't work. And to be honest, counseling and psychotherapy wouldn't work very well either, because they themselves do not want to solve the problem, even though they could be attending the sessions because my mom or my dad forced me here or whatever. And that is just to show that they are seeking help, but inside they may not want to solve the problem. Of course, when it comes to resolving such issues, if they really want to solve the problem, for dissociative identity disorder, I can think of a couple of techniques I can do with them. For schizophrenia, it's a bit different because schizophrenia is a bit more diverse in their symptoms. So understanding the mind profile would be on the top of my list before I can prescribe anything, before I can do anything to actually help them resolve. It could be a slower process. There was one hypnotist in past. What he did is he actually sat with the patient, and the patient was just mumbling mumble stuff, lost his identity, all that. And he was actually recording all the words he was saying into a book. And after he got all the words and pronunciations right, the hypnotist sat beside the patient and repeat the same mumbo jumbo back to him. And suddenly the patient looked at him and said, "Doctor, I do not understand what you're talking about. Speak proper English," and then went back into his trance world. So in a way, schizophrenia patients are people who are, in a way, their own form of trance. So the hypnotist now got to go in to the trance with them and bring them out, which is it's a bit more longer process compared to the usual people that I work with. Yeah, it's a bit of a long answer, but I hope that answers.
Oh, that sounds like an inception, right? Dream in a dream. You have to go and enter somebody's dream. Now you're going to enter in someone's kind of mental state.
Correct.
Very, very, very interesting. Yeah, we had quite a few people who tried on the activity just now. So they are saying why didn't this work on me? Is my mind too strong? I didn't get into the trance layer. Are you are you still energetic?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, think few things that you were discussing just now. One thing is whether they want to give them permission, and what about like a difference between if they were to sit you were to sit in physical next to them rather than through a video, because maybe they can't hear you very well, they can't see you very well, so there's a difference in the way the effect is coming across.
Yes. So another possibility is the time factor. So, for example, when I am actually doing that suggestive experiment, I was actually reading off of myself and you, because that's the only hands that I can see. So, if let's say, for example, the hands are still far apart, then I would emphasize more on the feelings, I would emphasize more on the imagination, on the focus, to get the person into trance. So, we have to adjust ourselves to actually fit the client. So, when it comes to a bunch of people, if let's say you are very fast, but then a bunch of people are still very slowly, then of course they need more time, and I need the time with them to actually do the suggestive experiment.
Okay, so in short, basically, if you want McKing to hypnotize you, he has to see you. Even if he's not next to you, at least he has to see what you're doing. If not, maybe, I don't know, maybe you are brushing your teeth or listening to McKing. So you go like, why am I not hypnotized? And then you're like, okay, maybe you're cooking like chicken rice or something. We don't know, right? In that sense.
Or maybe it's, for example, when I actually talk about how your elbows are above your body, away from your body. If let's say they actually maybe they didn't hear that part, and the elbows are still on the body, right? Then the arms have no free movement. So that's why the elbows are up in the air.
Yeah, in front of their, their hands are probably the computer. They're, a bit tight in space also.
So there are a few things that, tricky.
Okay, we have a comment from our friend. It sounds like a challenge. How are you gonna do, McKing? This is your friend Gary.
No lah, thirsty. I drink twice, then change to English.
Abusive father analogy, living sins of the father.
Yes, it's possible. Yeah. Generally speaking, we actually do inherit certain issues from our parents because we observe them from childhood. Yeah, but that's a little bit more into the understanding how the mind works.
Jerry says Mike wants to hex girls like a bomo. Whatever lah. Hey, Jerry, nowadays there's doxing laws, okay? You be careful what you say. If not, we get into trouble. That's because of the comment review. Oh, this is about what we talked about just now. Yeah.
Actually, I described the whole process on my blog. But the only reason I describe that is so that you understand the process, so you won't be gone.
Yeah, he's trying to be a good man, everybody. Okay, making a kind person. Hypnotic gaze. Is it using energy to radiate through the eyes? I can like hypnotize with eyes. Okay. Regards to this topic, there's also another person that made the comment like this. So I also might as well just combine these two questions because I made a statement on Facebook saying that I'm going to bring on a hypnotist, and they go like, how does he look like and something. It's like, oh, so you're not gonna show him who he is because if you don't see him and you just hear him, you won't get hypnotized. So there's this comment. So what do you think about this?
Okay, the thing about the eyes, it doesn't really work that way. There's no like energy power coming out. No, that is Hollywood stuff, right? The reason for the eyes is essentially the same reason for looking at your own hand, at my hand, looking at a dot on the wall, at a light, okay, at a focal point. And what happens is that when you have extreme focus on a singular point, you go into a state of trance. So that's how it works. So if, let's say, for example, I stare into your eyes and you stare at my eyes, then essentially we are focusing on each other, then yes, we will both experience some form of trance. But it's not like I'm hypnotic gaze, there's like energy or whatever to actually put someone in trance. Okay? So so if let's say like I ask you to look at my hand, for example, or a dot on my hand, or a dot at your own hand, a light, the pocket watch, then yes, these are all extreme focus. So it's not just the eyes, literally anything can be a focal point.
Okay, the Hollywood magic part always have this pocket watch that they will swing it in front of your face and then you will just conk out. What is that? What is the truth to that, or if there's any truth in that?
Okay, so
using the pocket watch.
Talk about focal point. So when I bring up a watch, for example, or a pocket watch, I'm dangling in the air, right? And you're looking at the watch, you're focusing all your attention on it, and then you start to go into a trance. Now, regarding this swinging thing, more often than not, the hypnotist doesn't swing because that actually distracts you from actually having the focus. So what they do is they have it focus over there, and then you're focusing on it. Now, one variation is they actually drop the pocket watch. So can you imagine, let's say you're focusing over here and you drop the pocket watch, and what happens?
You try to catch it.
No, you're so focused on it that your eyes will just naturally go down. So what happens when your eyes go down? Then when we say sleep. So that's how it works. Not so much the swinging. Very few hypnotists do that. There are still some hypnotists who use a pocket watch, but they use the technique that I described. But most of us, we don't really use pocket watch at all. But I do have a pocket watch just to tell time.
So guys, you want to hypnotize somebody, you drop the watch, you don't swing it, okay? To clarify the air, okay? Okay, that's Hollywood stuff. When you swing it, the person will just get giddy. The only type of living being that will be hypnotized by a swinging watch, I guarantee you, are cats. You do that, the cat will go like.
Yeah. Don't the cat try to hit it or something?
Sorry, what?
Don't the cat try to hit it?
Yeah, they'll be like. So yeah, I'm sure that was for them, but not for human beings. It doesn't work that way. Yes. Okay, Gary, how do you clear the traumatic stuff with hypnotism? Like, for example, depression, long-term pain, and stress.
Okay. So, what happens is that I will try to understand how their mind works first, where the issues may have come from. Then I will actually do the technique to actually help them to resolve the issues. So, for example, I had a client who had anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. And for her case is that her panic attacks occurs at 4 o'clock every day. All right?
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, it's quite serious. So what happened is that she came to see me. She was like 40 plus years old. And when I did the hypnosis with her, I did a technique known as a regression. So a regression is to go back in time in your memories to somewhere where the focal point, where the source or the root cause may have started. And she actually returned back to when she was a child. In fact, she said to me that she sees herself as a baby in the cot. And she's crying because she's hungry. And then I asked her to look around, tell me, what do you see? And she said, well, I see my parents, but they're arguing beside me. Well, how does it make you feel? I'm scared. Am I going to die? So a baby only know how to eat, shit, and sleep. So if let's say the baby is thinking, I want to eat, but mommy is not feeding me, but instead arguing with daddy, then it's possible for them to think, am I going to die? And that's where two possible programs may have come about. One is perhaps whenever the parents argue, fear of death. Whenever she's hungry, fear of death. And these two in combination may have caused that fear of death to grow and become the panic attack. Unfortunately, I didn't ask her to see a clock, whether it's 4 o'clock or not. I didn't ask her that. But that could be why is it every day at 4 o'clock, she has that particular trigger. And of course, as this, imagine a tree of emotions of this negativity grow, and then it becomes depression and panic attack. So for the example of depression, I, in her case, used regression and got her to forgive the parents for accidentally arguing in front of her. And that actually helps to resolve the issues for her. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Just very quickly, on long-term pain, there was another lady who came to see me, and she had a constant pain in her stomach, 24/7. She went for scope, ECG, MRI, whatever scan, CAT scan, PET scan, spent $15,000 on medical, and they couldn't find anything at all. So imagine a constant pain every day, right? For like, I think it was at least a year. So she came to see me. Now, pain is what I call psychosomatic symptoms, where the psycho is the issue in the mind, although at this point in time, we don't know what the issue is, and somatic, where the issue manifests in the physical form, in her case, as pain. So what I did with her was I went into, or I bring her into this pain in her stomach and let the unconscious mind create the world inside and show us what is happening, what is really happening. And the first thing was her father, who actually died when she was a child, and there was unresolved grief. So I got her to have closure with the father and resolve that grief. Next, after the father passed away, the mother was verbally abusive onto her. So I got her to forgive the mom. Third thing, she divorced. There was some resentment left with the husband. So I got her to release the resentment from the husband. And the moment she woke up, the pain was gone. So this is a process which is very different from the regression, but deals with pain, because that was the question. So these are just two case studies that I share. And of course, other people could have other forms of depression or other forms of long-term pain, and I could be doing different techniques with each of them, because it depends on how the mind is constructed for the problem.
Okay. So yeah, Jerry says it's a very good question. I think a lot of people are not feeling too good after the lockdown. Person very fierce when the person look at the person with scared, but is that meaning it's a hypnotic? Yeah.
No. No.
No, that's just action reaction. Look into my eyes. I see a dot. Focus on it. When I count off, click, close your eyes. Okay, no, they're trying to start to come up with scripts of pretending to be a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys are inspired to become a hypnotist, I think you can speak to McKing to discuss about how to train to be a Jedi or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe. McKing, tell them about your training. How were you trained as a hypnotist? Because it's not something that you wake up one day and say like I'm this and it works. Because you're kind of dealing with people's mental state. Is something very delicate, and people are not well. Like when some of them when they come to you, they have certain very specific problems they want to handle.
Correct.
Yeah. So how are you trained to handle all these grief and situations?
Okay. So it's a bit of a long story, but I'll cut it short. So it wasn't like I have a passion or interest in hypnotism. What got me started thinking about it was because when I was 20 years old, my lung actually burst in my sleep.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, the doctors have no idea what happened. I don't smoke, don't sleep good or whatever. And I had to go to the school. I was in poly. I had to give a presentation. And then after that, I went to the doctor, GP, and then went to the hospital. Now, when you took the X-ray, now can you imagine your lung is the entire size of your rib cage, right?
Yeah.
But when you took the X-ray, my right lung had collapsed to the size of a chicken egg.
Ouch.
Yes. And then now, in a state of shock, my conscious mind was down, my unconscious mind was wide open, and the doctor said this to me: you will die the next 2 days from suffocation, or the next 2 minutes when the air crushed your heart.
Okay.
And what happened is that my mind is not processing, okay, the doctor just said we're going to die. Why?
He told you that you're going to die.
Yes. In the next 2 days or next 2 minutes when the air crushed your heart. Unless you do the procedure to save yourself. Yeah. So not the best way to say that. But Yeah. Now, just like how I talk about the trauma when you get a car crash, right? The unconscious mind process. Okay, doctor said I'm gonna die. Why? The X-ray, lung got problem. Okay, why the lung got problem? And my unconscious mind link it to the presentation in school because we were breathless in the presentation. So by accident, my unconscious mind developed an anchor linking the near-death experience. I was on the ground crying, life flashing before my eyes, saw my life regrets and all that. Link that near-death experience with the presentation in school, and it became a form of PTSD for me. But I didn't know what was PTSD. I thought it was severe stage fright. So for next 2.5 years in poly, every single presentation, after the presentation, I would need to run to the toilet, have an emotional, physical, and mental breakdown, collapsing onto the sink. I can't think of anything. Intense amount of fear, tears, mucus, salivation, everything all just flew out like a waterfall. And I thought I had severe stage fright, but actually it was PTSD.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. I was questioning since when I had such a pitiful state and all that, and then I ended up in depression. The second time. So I had my own inner demons, if you will, my own anxieties, PTSD, and depression, and I suffered through several years later. And then after that, what happened is that I chanced upon Max Liang. Actually, he's inside. He's a face reader, and when he saw my face, he had a state of shock. His face turned pale and all that, and he said that he was like surprised and shocked. How am I still alive? Because
okay.
I should be dead long ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So that got me thinking that the importance of health, basically. So what happened is that I started to focus on health. I changed my diet, changed my food I eat, and start to change my life. So as I focus on health, a couple years later, something called NLP popped up, Neuro Linguistic Programming. So my NLP, it actually came on a Facebook ad, and it actually came from Australia. It talks about holistic health. So because I was on health, and it popped up for me, again, law of attraction. So I did my research, and I realized that most Singapore NLP training is about business, success, wealth, persuasion. And the one that I focused on was health. So I felt more in line with the Australian school. So I took the course. I was very lucky. They actually come twice a year for the basic course, and I did the basic with them. After which, I realized that my issues can be solved, but I didn't want to ask my classmate because we're all amateurs. So, so I went for the master practitioner with the same school when they came back, and I actually wanted myself as a demo subject for one of the techniques with the trainer. And I was breaking down, I was crying in front of 20 people, and I couldn't get out of it. And the trainers said that this is called an apt reaction, where the issue was so severe that we are so emotionally involved in it. So now she's like doing other things to help me get out of it and then resolve the issue proper. That got me started to actually heal myself. Now, during the master practitioner, I realized that most of the core techniques in NLP came from hypnosis. So my question was it the concepts or the techniques of hypnosis that they took? And is there any difference? So again, law of attraction, I received an email from a German trainer, German hypnosis trainer, to teach conversational hypnosis, where they specifically teach the concepts and principles of hypnosis and how it all works. So I was like, whoa, okay. So I went for the course. And then I learned the hypnosis from there, plus the NLP, combine everything together and start to heal myself first. So as I heal myself from all my mental health issues, then I was like, okay, you know what? It's a pretty good tool. So at that point in time, for about a year or so, I told some of my friends, if you've got any issues, you buy me lunch or dinner, I do one technique to solve your problem. That's it. And we did it in coffee shops, restaurants, and cafes. And it helped them. So I was like helping people in a few minutes, procrastination, a lawyer with fear of public speaking, stuff like that. So after that, it got me thinking to do this professionally, and that's when I started this. After I worked on myself to resolve any business money related issues, then I started this practice about 5 years ago. So that's how the long story short for how I became a hypnotist.
Okay. Yeah. Then Jerry says he's afraid that under hypnosis he will be asked to give all the money. Just keep telling yourself it's not real. Regression is damn interesting. I want to watch Kate in regression session. What's this, you guys? What's with you guys and asking me to do all sorts of stuff? If you're curious to do it yourself, because then you actually experience it like firsthand. Jerry, we are both actors, okay? I'm an actress also, so you don't trust actors about these things, okay? Right now. Keep telling yourself that it's not real, that you won't get into a trance. So, Jack, if you have been telling yourself it's not real, you won't get into a trance, then that's why you are not hypnotized. It's all about the commission, right? So if you keep thinking that it's all coercion, then it's just nothing going to happen. So in simple terms, you decided that you didn't want to participate. So, I mean, it's okay that you don't want to, but that's the reason. Sati, is it energy? Hypnotic energy and sati. I think aura is a different thing. I would say so. What do you think?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about aura, there will be another person that might be more appropriate for this topic, I would say, right, McKing?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So it's two different topics. Maybe that's not mix them together. I want to go trance. I don't mean high. Yeah. Okay, Gary. Jerry, I mean. Then Gary says, do you interview the clients before the hypno session starts? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is what you can tell them. Like in case anyone wants to kind of like have a coffee session with McKing. Yeah.
So what happened is that yes, we do a bit of an interview process where the client will share all the issues that they want to resolve, and I'll be asking certain things about the family history and life history, so I can understand how the mind may have processed, may have learned, may have programmed throughout from childhood all the way up to now. Then of course, because most people think that hypnotism is the traditional one where they see on television, the guy just sit on there for like 2 hours. I don't do that. Mine is more complicated. Some of my clients do experience hypnosis eyes open. And so I will explain how hypnotism really works in that sense. Today is just very brief, not to go too deep, because otherwise, I don't know, might be too much information. But yes, I do roughly about up to 2 hours. I give up to 2 hours, trying to share the issues, and I share how hypnotism works. Then I'll let the client go back home, think about what I said, whether they're ready to solve the issues based on my suggestions. Because sometimes if the issue comes from forgiving the parents, but the person might not want to forgive the parents, then there's no point doing a hypnosis at all, because it's not going to be very effective. So I usually let the client go back home, think about it. When they're ready, then they'll get back to me.
Okay. So yeah, a few more, because we have kept making a bit long. We're supposed to be a 1 hour session, but the questions keep flowing in, so we just have to really go through the questions fast, and then let McKing rest for the day. Jerry says he wants to be therapist. He has lots of psychiatrist friends, psychologist friends. They're all pretty screwed up when they go for therapy sessions. Okay, I wonder who they are. A transgender person, no family history, no hormone disorder, but gender dysphoria. What would the session be like? Kate Lim, shouldn't ask me. You should ask McKing. I think maybe for very specific cases like this, you should speak to him in detail, like in person, right? Because it's something that maybe people will, okay, this doesn't apply to me, so we're talking about this. Are you from RP? That's even more random question. Are you from RP?
No, Ngee Poly.
You're from same school as me.
Huh? What?
Same school as me. I used to be from, I was Ngee NUS.
Cool.
There is no causal linkage. Everyone has a type of bad experience or trauma. Some people deal better than others. Strings have a better access to the info because of immersion, so it's better than reach out for the therapy. Okay. Where was this? Okay. Jerry Ho, that's unethical. I'm talking about the pretty girlfriend stuff. Thank you for sharing personal experience. I feel we are going to personal experience. Okay. So he does identify with you that your experience helps you become a better therapist, because I believe sometimes people would have a very weird assumption. I think it's an unfair assumption that if you are in this practice, that means you must be like a Superman. Like you might not have experiences that are unhealthy of any sort. Okay, how do you stop phobias like flying or smoking or nail biting? Okay, this is the last question we have to take. If not, if McKing doesn't eat or Kate doesn't eat, we'll become very, very angry people. Yes, but thanks so much for all this very much interest into McKing's work. I think he's very encouraged by today's very good response, right, McKing?
Yeah, it was quite fun.
Okay, so last one. Flying, smoking, nail biting phobias. Okay.
When it comes to specific phobias, right? Again, I need to understand the construct of the mind. Then I can actually prescribe how to actually handle it. So if let's say the person experienced a trauma during a flight, for example, then we may do a regression to resolve the issue. Specific techniques like VK dissociation or like unconscious pattern change. Now, if let's say, for example, the person in terms of phobia might be just like seemingly random, it's just something there. I would actually do more of a symbolism thing, allow the mind to construct that fear into a symbol, and then we address it. So earlier, for example, we talked about the Manic Hands, and I talked about the knife in the heart, right? I did a process with a client. I can't remember what fear was it though, but the fear manifests itself as a cage around him. Okay, so now he feels like he's trapped in that cage. That's why he has this fear and all that. So I asked him one question: since you can see the cage in your mind, is the door locked? And he looked at the door, and I was like, no. I'm like, okay, you want to walk through it? And he was like, give me a moment. Whenever you're ready. And when he was ready, he opened the door in the mind, and he walked through, and that was it. The fear was gone. So really, it's very, very interesting to work with the mind. So different kind of phobias, different kind of fears. I will use different techniques and help them in a few minutes, probably.
Okay. So yeah, now that we have addressed all the questions, I think since we have so much interest in your work, we can actually throw out a Q&A, and if we have good response to that, then probably you can do a follow-up session with them. So basically, McKing is gonna throw out a session to meet up with this, right?
So
You look shocked.
wait.
Right.
Is it?
No, I'll put a question out, and it's just like kind of like, are you listening kind of questions.
Okay.
And then if they answer it right, then you can can say hello to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, basically, from the beginning of the discussion, McKing discussed about music and all these. Okay. So he used a specific term, okay, to describe things like music or certain action or food and all that. Like it's not called hypnosis per se, but there was a certain word that starts with an A. Right? Correct, McKing, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I know.
So does anyone know what's this word that starts with an A? Like whenever let's say you eat this food, you become happy. Whenever you listen to this music, you become sleepy. It's what starts with an A. Let's see. Jerry says Kate knows. Yeah, of course I know. Duh. I asked the question. Bird cage analogies. I have lots of bird cages in my house. Okay. So probably you want to do, I don't know, a regression with birds. I'm not sure. Okay, so does anyone, or can people hear us? Or is it too difficult, the question? Okay, if that question is a bit too difficult, then let's do something easier. Okay.
You're trying to recall.
No, I'm thinking of all, because we spoke about so much today, we spoke about quite a bit. Okay, whoever that knows what's the long form of PTSD. Okay, just spell it out,
Yeah.
What does PTSD stand for? Are people hearing us? They were like talking like non-stop until now. It's like, what it feels like? It's like, you're a teacher, and then like, your students are like, chattering non-stop. The moment you go like, okay, you answer the question, everyone's just like quiet. Cheap. Okay, never mind. And it's okay then. Okay, I don't wanna, stress. Yeah, I don't wanna stress you guys with exam question. I thought it was just fun, but yeah. Thanks guys for joining us. Thanks for the wonderful questions. Thanks McKing for your time. What's this A thing? PTSD, don't know. PTSD, not PDSD. Oh my gosh, is my pronunciation that bad? Okay, Jack answered PTSD. Yay. Okay, so you can follow up with Jack and say hello to him. Okay, maybe that was a Facebook lag thing. Yeah, Facebook has a bit of a few minutes. Yeah, too slow to read comments. No, we're not too slow to read comments. It's just that Facebook is a bit slow. Okay, so Jerry says LOL, and Gary says thanks everybody. Good job, everyone. Okay, met your diehard fan. So, so just evidence that Jack is the first one to get this right. Thank you, Jack. Okay, so thanks, McKing. Any last parting shots to our viewers before we call it a night?
And Lisa, last what?
Any parting shots before you say goodbye?
What does that mean?
I feel like any last phrases that you want, any word of advice?
Say more positive things to yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much.
Don't be a what too much?
Don't beat yourself up too much.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, everybody. And guys, see you tomorrow. I'm going to pull another guest and watch out for my page for that. The time now is 7:39. At 8 o'clock, you can jump over at Ben Logan's page. He will be cooking some stuff. So for the people who want food recipes, it's not here. Go to Ben Logan. He's also cooking tonight. All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.